Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. We're going to take another look here at Terra Classic, see what's going on, of course, help understand best practice and big picture, and just want to touch, of course, also on the arrest warrant for Kwon. Big surprise, right? Makes sense that that's happening finally, but also keep in mind too, the price is decreasing as well. It's one of those situations where it's kind of a buy the rumor, sell the news without the rumor at all. Right? So there's no rumor, just strictly put arrest warrant, and of course that will take the price action and decrease it. It's also going to affect Luna 2.0, right? Big surprise. This is something that happens with something of this nature, all right? Again, that is an unfortunate situation and circumstance. Yes, it sucks the price coming down, but these are fundamental catalysts that cause the price to do crazy things. But what's great about that is you can oftentimes forecast what's going to happen next when it comes to the price action coming up or down based on support levels and resistance levels. Fundamental news can only affect things for so long, right? So we'll take a look at that and much more. If you're new to the channel, just note I'm not a financial advisor. Love teaching people to trade. I have a trading academy, community, and I send out signals for every single trade that I take. So be sure to check that out in your own time. It's a really awesome experience. CryptoCash.tech is the website where you can register. Link in the description below. I also have a link as well for ByBit. BitGet. I used to use ByBit consistently, but BitGet is a very, very awesome exchange. It works tremendously better. It's much more user-friendly, and they have a tremendous bonus here, essentially, if you were to transfer over some funds and, of course, trade with their exchange. Keep in mind, these bonuses are only available if you are trading consistently, so be sure to do that if you have registered with an account recently here. I know I had a lot of members start yesterday, and they're curious how to get that moving forward. The key is to make sure that you have trading volume, because without that, there's really not a lot that happens. Okay, so taking a look here at Terra Classic. Big picture, we have basically a doji candle forming here, or more importantly, a bearish engulfing candle, and that is essentially an ominous sign. In other words, it could imply further downside if we close further here moving forward. In other words, if it encompasses the previous candlestick, that is never a great sign. If we take a look, of course, at the RSI, we do have a support level at 50, which I mentioned previously quite a few times. Right here at about 28,000 is the key level support, because once again, that was a previous resistance. If you look at Terra Luna, or basically just Luna 2.0, you can see there's not much support level forming because it didn't have a chance to be able to establish a previous resistance. So we had this pennant type of pattern form, ascending type of wedge that commonly breaks to the upside, and back then, of course, I was able to call that, and that was pretty obvious that was going to happen because you can only test resistance levels for so long. Well, good news is we have that working as a support level as long as we don't test it consistently, right? So we're testing that today, all well and good, but if it continues to test and retest, then we could eventually see that broken. All right, so for now, it's a tentatively good sign, but typically not great. We do have the MACD divergence that officially has formed. This was kind of doing a bounce type situation recently, but with today's price action, it's coming down. So for the most part, minus the fact that we are kind of trending right around the 20-day set moving average on the daily, which isn't a strong indicator in the first place, we don't have a lot going for us here on the daily. It's not fantastic, so it does imply further downside is likely. All right, just keep that in mind, because again, we're still making lower lows and lower highs. Okay, you have these kind of things continue. It's one of those situations where you have to expect it to continue to maintain itself. We lost the ascending trend line, which is unfortunate, disadvantageous, but it is part of the situation. And the only thing we have really saving us here potentially, which is concurrent once again with a lower Fibonacci retracement level at about 20,500, is of course this support level here at the 200-day simple moving average. So the 200-day SMA should work as a support level if we were to come down that low. But for now, 28,000 we can expect or anticipate to be a key level support. You can see how it hugged this price action right here. Nice and easy. Even though we wicked down below, we're still in good shape. You see candle wicks do happen sometimes. It's perfectly fine. The key is that we closed above that level, okay? So mostly good stuff there on the 4-hour, except for the fact that we're under 50 on the RSI. I don't love that. And of course, we have MACD further divergence. So again, more downside is still likely, but holding this support level, if we can maintain a price point of 28 to 29,000 over the next 2 or 3 trading days, we should be able to allow this to increase the price action later. Last thing to look at here would be the 1-hour time frame. We want to take a look at TD sequential. We got a 9 where we hit this exhaustive state, of course, and now we're consolidating sideways. So again, as long as we can kind of maintain ourselves sideways for a little while, we should have a potential to leg up from here. I'll go ahead and make sure to cover this again later today to give you kind of a better perspective on what's going on throughout the day. But for now, we've hit this exhaustive state to the downside. The news came out right in this range here, pushed it down super strong. And of course, we're having this sell-off that occurred. But key is it hasn't broken below that level yet, and that's a fantastic sign. Last thing to note here, of course, though, is that we're back below the cloud. Well, we never truly got above it. We kind of went through the cloud essentially. And what that basically just implies is that we have some key level resistances. The price action is moving down lower. That's, for lack of better terms, these are the lower highs that we're continuing to maintain, whereas the upper and lower lead on the cloud holds the price action in place. So until we have a clean break above, in other words, until we're up here, we're not going to be in good shape, right? That's what we need to do. So that being said, that's why consolidation sideways would allow for that to happen, because this cloud would naturally progress lower and the price would come up higher as a result of that. Again, no guarantees, but that's what we're looking for. But the key takeaway here is that it's basically telling us a short position is still viable to keep that open. In other words, if you have a short position open, that you want to go ahead and keep that open until the conversion line crosses over the baseline or the lagging span intersects with the price action. So this really just tells us that the next 12 to 24 hours are still going to be bearish until we have confirmation otherwise. Okay, so please try not to long right now. Obviously, add to your position if you want to go ahead and continue to have a hodl position or more of a long-term hold. But at this point, you got to recognize that it's still giving us mostly bearish signals, and it's not typically the best advice to jump right in. Buy the dip, yes, if that's what you're into, but if you're trying to, take a small position, in other words, a position you hold for a short amount of time, like a day trade, for example, then you would want to maybe consider doing, waiting for confirmation, right? Those are things I like to recommend. So again, all in all, mostly good stuff here from Terra Classic. Except it's pretty much expected that the price is going to do what it's doing based on the news. But you got to recognize too, it's maintaining a pretty decent price considering the competition, or more importantly, what Luna 2.0 is doing as well. And that speaks a lot. It speaks a good testament to Terra Classic, and then it should have some long-term sustainability. All right, that's kind of where we're at there for now. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you learned something here today. If you want to become a better trader, cryptocash.tech is a site, link in the description below. Be sure to use BitGet, the link in the description as well. And, again, if you registered yesterday, which a lot of my members did, make sure you're using some trading volume. If you're not trading, you're not really getting any of those bonuses. So check that out, of course. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.